Oh, I keep forgetting there's water there. Oh, man. Excuse me, sir. I'm just coming down this way. I forgot Woman Restaurant was quite so far away. My bad. Oh, that's not a pathway? Huh, totally thought that was a pathway. It's not the interact button. Shit, I just put it out. I didn't have a pyro character, god damn it. God damn it. Anyone have a fire I can use? Awesome, thanks buddy.
Second life. Satisfaction.
Chili mints. Huh? Where is it? Seriously? 3 flour? Bruh, please tell me you sell flour. I'm pretty sure you don't. Pretty sure I have to make flour. Yeah, fuck me. 3 minutes have to waste. Yay, go team. Wait, where am I even going? Use this thing.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
Ah. That's what I wanted. Obtain. Nope, that one. Okay. It's hardly a minigame when it's virtually impossible to fail. Okay. Cutting is up on Yeeting Terrace. Let's go, Pamon. I'm just going to travel there, as I normally will.
Mine's ready too. Let's go together.
I'm really not sure why we both cooked the same dish. What's the point? We only needed 1 sample for cooking. Why did I need to cook it at the same time? Couldn't I have just helped Xiangling make it? The why she would need my help, I don't know. Just seems weird.
We're back.
So this is a dish that the stove god made.
The traveler and I made 1 each. Here, have it taste while it's still warm.
Is her grandfather mysteriously the stove god? No, because he wouldn't be the right age.
Thank you. Don't mind if I do.
Where is he? Cooking tastes everyone's dishes.
What is it? What does that face mean? This flavor. I've tasted it before.
Because your grandfather made it for you. Did you not know your grandfather? Hold up. Did you know your grandfather? Yes, because you mentioned what he says. So you know your grandfather before he died. Cooking?
Apologies. Xiangling, Traveler, thank you both. This is everything I had hoped it would be. It tastes wonderful and quite amazingly. Somehow it took me right back to my childhood. When my grandfather was still around.
Because he's a stove god. Shakara.
Really? That's awesome! I didn't have a chance to fully explain before. In fact, when Master had filled in the missing parts of the recipe for me, I realized that I already knew how to make this dish.
What?
You already knew?
What?
You mean you were able to make this without ever seeing the recipe? Uh-huh. My dad taught me how to make it.
What?
Wait, but isn't this dish from Kuching's grandpa's notes, though?
Yeah.
About that. I do not believe that this recipe was my grandfather's creation. My grandfather was a well-known real estate tycoon in Liyue, and also
Okay,
a
your
scholar.
grandfather's not the stove
He was
god.
an avid collector of old books and was quite knowledgeable on many of Liyue's customs and traditions that are no longer practiced.
So it's somehow been passed down Xiangling's family as well? What a coincidence. Did the stove god teach us this dish to like literally everybody?
As a child, I used to spend a lot of time with him in his study. We'd read the classics together, then debate how much of it was actually genuine, and whether Rex Lapis was real or not. He used to say, books are just a bridge that bring us a little closer to history. It's up to those of us in later generations to ask these questions, search for the answers, and decide what they mean. Since then, my grandfather has passed on, and I've grown up to become a Chising. My views on Rex Lapis have changed in this time too. From myth to reality.
Well, you know, having a dragon plunge from the sky dead will kind of do that to you. I do think they could have done away with the entire cooking competition and just focused on the stove god aspect of it. I think that there were just two separate aspects, stove god, cooking competition, and they should have just focused on one, not trying to smash both of them together. I don't like the way that they came together. I would have preferred separate and just not have the cooking competition at all because it gave me no value.
For me, the name Rex Lapis is inextricably wound up with memories of my grandfather. Whenever I see his name written down, it always reminds me of sitting in my grandfather's study, seeing all of his notes. As I said earlier, this recipe came from those same notes. It's an ancient dish that he was trying to restore to its original form. But, unfortunately, without the full recipe, he never quite succeeded.
He just needed to hit up Xiangling's ancestors and they would have been able to tell him what the missing gaps were.
Still, each time he tried cooking it, he'd always get me to have a taste while it was still warm. The memories. This really is the taste of my childhood.
That's kind of sweet.
Ancient dish? Are cornbread buns really that old? Well, at least in my family it is. My dad learned how to make it from his dad, and supposedly it's been passed down that way for generations.
Next thing you know, she's a descendant of the stove god.
We call them chili mince cornbread buns. They're a traditional folk food snack, easy to pack up and take with you on the road. So they're the perfect thing to eat on the go. La, la, la.
Yes,
Seeing
Guava?
Guoba just reminded me of something. I actually made this dish on the day I first met Guoba.
Oh god, don't tell me Guava's a stove god.
How did you first meet?
It was in a cave in the mountains. I ducked inside to get out of the rain and saw an offering table in there, so I put the cornbread buns I'd brought with me on it.
Is this thingy, the stone gonna crack and then Guoba's gonna become more sentient? More aware? More verbal?
Then I ended up falling asleep, and when I woke up, I found out that Guoba had eaten every last one. Guoba followed me around ever since. We're practically family now.
I like how we finally got the history between the two of them. I was always wondering how you got Guoba.
Hold up! Stop the conversation. Look! The stone!
Ooh. Oh,
Burst open!
it's hilarious. Is that you or is it your ancestor? I did think they were talking about reincarnation.
It's...
Is that Guoba?
Guoba? What are you... What? Mara?
Even he wasn't aware.
Ah, I see the chili mince cornbread buns have been served.
So it was waiting for the dish to be served. Okay. I kind of figured.
Master! Granny, look! The stove god statue looks just like Guoba!
Oh, indeed it does. After all, Guoba is the deity you've been searching for. God of the stove.
Why? Because he sets heat to the stove?
Guoba is a god?
Yeah, that I find hard to believe. Yeah, go, but you're not selling it.
You asked me if a sufficiently festive atmosphere would be enough to reawaken the stove god. And my answer is this. Yes. And no. The stove god has always been a deity with great affection for the people, and who acts in response to their desires. To him, the heart's passions and the heart's desires are not the same thing. Passion can be a technique, a skill, something derived from experience. But desires, they are deeper, more innate. They are the heart's strength in its purest form. Masterful chefs is wonderfully exciting, but it is more an exercise of passion than of desire. And passion alone will not suffice to reawaken the stove god from his deep slumber. But just now, when Kuching ate this dish she had longed for, a deeply held desire was fulfilled. As well as receiving an answer to her question, she also gained something much more precious. A moment of poignant nostalgia so vivid, it felt like she was right there alongside her grandfather. The enormous power unleashed by the fulfillment of this desire resonated with the stove god's statue, and caused it to manifest once more the form it took in the past. Of course, the stove god himself is not contained within the statue. The true stove god has been here with us all along.
How old are you? And why does he not remember?
How does it feel, seeing a statue of yourself from your glory days? Look at him. Still so majestic.
Glory days? Wait, what happened? Did Guoba used to be different from now?
Oh, yes. Back in his day, your Guoba was once the patron god of the soil. But all the wisdom and power he had then, he has since surrendered to the soil itself.
A god surrendering their power to the soil. I have heard this turn of phrase before, but what does it mean?
The kinds of trials and tribulations that a land can face are far more than you could imagine. Droughts, floods, torrential rain, hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis, fires, and plagues. The threat of disaster will never fully disappear from Liyue. Even woes that have never been faced before in history will come to pass in the future. Such things affect you mortals far more than we Adepti, with our immortal forms. He once walked with you over the barren plains until you arrived at last at the harbor. He joined you in building your dwellings and lighting the stoves.
Did he ever talk?
It was his hand that lit the very first street lamp of Liyue and brought the aroma of cooked food into every household in the land. You mortals no longer remember him, but back in the age when you did, he was the closest of all the Adepti to the common folk.
Really? Cinematic really required? Ah, so loud.
God of the stove, born from a spark when stone struck stone. He was a god with a great love for humanity.
He looks like a kaiju
well-being.
about to destroy humanity, actually. Look at that anger.
Millennia ago, the people sought to expand their city. They built a dwelling on the plains and called it the Gweli Assembly. The stove god cared greatly for the people, turning himself into minions who went into every home, fostering food and solidarity alike. Alas, their home was taken by a flood. The waters ravaged the Gweli Assembly and forced the people back south to Liyue Harbor. Though the distance was not far, the journey was plagued by a terrible storm. For a dozen days, the Adepti stayed by their side. During this time, the stove god cooked an ancient delicacy, flatbread with a meat sauce to stave off the cold and damp, fit for those on the move. Centuries later, disaster and plague arose once more. The stove god would appear no longer, for he placed all of his power into the land itself to quell the calamities. His power expended, and his wits greatly reduced. Thus his body decreased in size. By the time he parted ways with us, he wasn't even the height of a human. He told Rex Lapis and I of the dishes that bring joy and of the secrets of the flame, then went into the mountains and entered into a long slumber. The stove god departed, and Guoba was born. When he awoke, he ate the Chiliman's cornbread buns placed on the offering table by a young lady in yellow. Though he did not remember the past, he was profoundly moved and decided to follow this young lady thereafter. The stove god had quietly disappeared, but the vendors rose early to hawk their wares. People went out to buy goods, lit their stoves, and cooked food, just as they had done every day for as long as they could remember. In Liyue, things have always been this way. Nature provides, the mountains rejoice. We are blessed by heaven's good grace.
Years have gone by. The world has transformed, but our way of life survives.
Again, they just want to throw every Liyuan character at it.
Only a season. It is the moment that we should embrace.
Past meets
Wait, who's
present.
that in the background?
Heritage becomes legacy. Long into the future.
I don't know
may
that
we
person.
thrive.
Who's that person? The one that was in the back right.
Told me that dining is the profoundest of customs in the human world. To eat well is to consume vitality itself, and to drink well is to partake of the very essence of the world. It is a matter of paramount importance, you said, for people cannot face the arduous journey ahead on an empty stomach. At once a humble affair and a profound one. A humble meal of maize and spring water is also profound in that. By ensuring one's survival, it paves the way for millennia of human history and culture to come. My dear friend, Liyue has changed so much while you have slept. Looking at the prosperity and beauty around us today, does it make you happy?
Guoba, this is kind of a huge deal. Why didn't you say anything?
Because he doesn't speak the common tongue.
He is not who he once was. Even the power of speech evades him now. There is no way he could have told you.
Oh,
Guoba, but...
Xiangling.
Do not be saddened, Xiangling. There are two sides to everything. Guoba may have lost many of his formal faculties, but he is now as carefree as can be, without a single worry in the whole world. In this world we inhabit, who can truly be said to live a life free of all woes? Those with a mind and with the knowledge will certainly be troubled by all manner of things. But he has gone further than us in his journey. He had both wisdom and courage. Everything he took upon himself, he was also ready to part with. His carefree demeanor today is a testament to the fact that he is at rest.
I appreciate Guoba's focus. He's not running around getting distracted. He's actually staying and paying attention to the conversation for once. Character development.
So since you are his friend, take good care of him. Go out to walk and play. Allow him to eat, drink, and be merry.
I will. You can count on me.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Guoba was already living his best life, but sure.
Xiangling, you have an adeptal affinity. Guoba follows you around because he has respect for you. The moment he awoke, he was met with a familiar flavor in the chili mince cornbread buns he ate. After all that time, he still recognized the dish he had invented, and he approved of you as the one who had cooked it.
That's right. The taste of one's home cuisine always brings back memories of home. Though he remembered nothing, eating the food you had cooked gave him a feeling of familiarity. That is why he stuck by you.
You may be the first person in history to give the stove god the experience of being a satisfied customer. That makes you quite a remarkable chef.
I love Xiangling's cooking too.
If that's true,
Oh,
I
that's
couldn't
right.
be happier. Because putting a smile on customers' faces is what we chefs are called to do.
Well then, it's getting late and I still have things to do. Time for me to say goodbye. Traveler, Paimon, Xiangling, thank you all very much. I look forward to spending more time together in the future.
Sounds good. We're waiting.
I guess my dad's probably heard the good news already, but I should still go catch up with him. Master, it's been a while since you came by. Why don't you join me? He thinks about you all the time, you know. He's always telling me to invite you over.
I'm still not sure how Madame Ping is her master. In what regard, what context? What is she the master of for Xiangling? Because she doesn't cook. So what? You don't just call somebody Will you shut up, Discord? You don't just call somebody master. There has to be like a specific avenue that you call someone a master of.
Oh, goodness me. Then, far be it from me to refuse. Off we go then. Let's saunter over gently and see how all the city folk are getting along.
I like that. Saunter over gently. For God's sake, will you shut up? I know we have a Pathfinder game tonight, but I do not need to hear you beeping non-stop until that moment in time. Oh yeah, I forgot how far away it was. Whoops. Would have been faster to teleport. Hey, I haven't noticed those two having a drink up on the top of the roof there. Okay, they were totally just watching the sunset. They weren't really having a drink, but still, same. Whack into the alchemy table. Okay, we're here. We made it.
Hi, Dad. I'm back. Hey, what are you doing there? I should be the one handling that.
Grope is so excited to be home. Hey, get Grope.
Oh no, Globa's taken off.
That's not ideal. Look who it is. Oh, he remembers him. Not Zhongli. Guoba. Does Guoba remember Zhongli? Look at that expression. He does.
Oh, it's you.
Huh?
Hello there, old friend.
Huh? I was waiting for Zhongli. I'm like, had literally every character. We haven't had him yet, though. Oh, that's so adorable.
Oh, bless my soul. Are you out for a stroll as well?
Given the season, it felt fitting to take a leisurely walk while the meal is being prepared.
He's just so carefree. Sir, you don't have any mora. How are you affording to feed yourself? And I like how they've just shunted Xiangling into her. Oh, for fuck's sake, get rid of Discord.
It also gave us the chance to run into you.
Okay.
Guoba
Sorry, didn't mean to
may
click.
not recognize you, but as ever, he seems quite delighted to see you.
Discord is gone. Where was I? Yes, they've just... Oh, God, now the phone's going to go off. They've shunted Xiangling into the restaurant so that she doesn't discover Zhongli's identity.
So, Globa doesn't remember anything, but can still feel when something's familiar?
Friendship will always withstand the ravages of time.
That's kind of cute.
Traveler, what do you think of the name of this festival? Moon Chase.
Evocative and seasonal?
The moon is a carrier of countless emotions. So many things only seem to surface as we gaze up beneath its poignant glow. Wherever the moonlight shines, the heart is wont to follow. Fond memories of those no longer with us. Debts of gratitude to old friends. The meaning of ages past and gone. All wrapped up in the city that has existed for so many moons to date. All these things and more. They are why people chase the moon.
In old age, the sight of many things puts one in a wistful mood. But children are always a beautiful sight to see.
Question, how do Adeptus age? Because both Madame Ping and Xiao, if my memory is not failing me, are both Adeptus, right? They're Adepti. Yet Xiao is like mid-20s, early 20s. God, I don't know. Visually. And then Madame Ping is an old woman. How does aging work? And why did she get the short end of the stick?
Such exuberant life force. It seems to well up from deep within the land itself. A land that has been in existence for so many millennia, and yet one that still dazzles today.
You're using profound words, guys, and none of it's meaning anything. Perhaps that is what defines Leo.
Traveler, this Moon Chase Festival has been all the more entertaining with you here to witness it.
That's because I'm extra special.
Now, let's have Xiangling brew us a nice pot of tea. We shall drink and chat at our leisure.
Hey, Zhongli, free meal. Come with. Does he actually come? We'll never know. I doubt it, but we'll never know. Oh, man. Okay. Thoughts about this. Okay, I'm of two minds. I mean, I've already mentioned how a lot of it feels contrived for us. There should be separate stories. I'm not going to go back into all of that. You know, the waste of time a lot of those conversations were. They were unnecessary. They didn't, further anything. But anywho, as for the ending, I'm of two
A
minds.
blade embraces its duty.
Shh. I find it amusing that the stove god was Grober, which is what they were going for. So that was cute, and the whole thing was only at the end, that was adorable. But on the other hand, I keep waiting for some maturity from this
blade is
game.
like a tea.
Shut up.
Only those who sample it
Ah!
many times can appreciate
Would you
its
hush?
true qualities.
Only one person can
Take
talk
flight.
right now, and that's me. I keep waiting for some big, life-changing or dramatic or emotional or just something big to happen, something interesting. So I thought we'd get something awesome out of the stove god. And then it's like, no, they just went for cheesy instead. I keep...
A blade embraces
Oh my
its
god,
duty.
Ayaka, shut up.
As a jeweler
I
cherishes their
keep
gems.
having like higher expectations for a deeper and more profound storyline and character development, and every time I get slapped in the face with cheese, which sounds like a weird notion. But it's like I need to stop expecting maturity and depth from this game, and I need to just start taking it at shallow surface value, because I'm never going to get more. I'm never going to get more than what you see, which is sad. There's so many ways that this game could be deeper with its plot, with its story, its
blade
emotions,
embraces
its
its
characters.
duty.
How
As a
many
jeweler
times do you have to
cherishes
talk
their
just because you're
gems.
idle? Oh my god, I've never noticed until now. You don't shut up. But they have the possibility of being more, but they just keep shooting themselves in the foot and staying in this narrow little lane of cheese and youth, dare I say, even though the game is targeted at older people because they want people to spend money on their captures. So it's actually targeted at an older audience, but it feels like they're speaking to a younger audience sometimes. It's a really strange dichotomy that's a little frustrating. And I don't know if it's just a consequence of the genre, but at the same time, this kind of genre isn't restricted for
I
children.
only
Like,
wish life could be as leisurely as
this
a little
genre
more
has
often.
a lot of
How greedy
in-depth
of me.
and complex stories for adults. So it's not even a thing about the genre. There's plenty of scope for it to do it, but it just doesn't. And that's what bothers me the most. That's what annoyed me about the character stories. Oopsies. It's what annoys me sometimes about the main plot. The main plot, to be fair, though, is all right. It's a decent story. So while it was cute and funny that Grober was the stove god, I kind of also don't like it because I'm still expecting more from this game. But in any case, way better than the character stories. Like, I know that's a really low bar to set, but definitely better than the character stories. And even though most of that was padding rather than actual quality content, at least the padding was interesting compared to the character
blade
stories.
embraces its
So
duty.
it does give me
As a
hope that
jeweler cherishes their gems.
the game is going to continue to have attempts at decent storylines, and I can get behind attempts even if they don't succeed half the time. I can at least get behind that. I don't know that I can really be bothered to do this thingy that has opened up the Trail of Delicacies. The struggle's real, man. I struggled with these ones, and you want me to go to harder? I don't know that I have the heart for it. But at the same time, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 battles. Oh, in the cool and the cold, I'm gonna freeze to death. Do I want to? They're level 70. Rune braziers that reduce sheer cold are present within the. I don't really fire. I have to put the fire in. When these rune braziers cease function due to taking damage, they will restart after a certain period of time. Additionally, a Rime Frost Infusion Stone will be present in this camp and will greatly buff nearby opponents. Yeah, this just sounds like too much effort. I know I get that and that, which are two things I'm sorely in need of, but I just don't have it in me. I really don't. I don't need it. I got to where I needed to get the second quest, so the rest is just superfluous. I just can't be bothered. Really can't. So I guess I'll leave it at that. And yeah, I'm not running through. Where is this? Go to collect. Yep, it's Dragonspine. No, thank you. I am done with Dragonspine. I was done with the Dragonspine a long time ago. That's what it's called, right? Dragonspine? I'm not just pulling that out of nowhere. Yeah, cool. I wasn't remembering correctly. Yeah, I was done with that place a long time ago.
blade
So
embraces
yeah,
its duty.
I
As a jeweler cherishes
I
their
feel like the
gems.
previous festival was bigger and there was far much more to do, so it was probably a more important festival. And I like that they still keep bringing festivals into the game. I don't know, I don't like mini games, but I guess I like the idea that there is more for other people to do in the festivals, that they can play the mini games. I don't know, but as I said, you know, not every festival's the same size. You have big ones, you have small ones, so it's kind of nice that it's also a small festival. But yeah, that's it for me for this festival. I will get on with back to Inazuma, I guess, next time. I guess. I've got 1.5 islands I have yet to explore, plus the whole second story to do. And yeah, it's gonna take a while.